All right, Aerosmith has taken the stage. Whoa, check out Steven Tyler's hat. Okay, LA, crank it up, because we're getting ready to rock on this exclusive live broadcast.
You are on YouTube. Please welcome your host, Orro the Mustang Prince. Hey there, viewers. I'm Joshua The Mustang Prince. Welcome to Mustang Prince Orro Reports. You guys want to know what one of my favorite genres of music is? Rock and roll, that's what. I mean, who doesn't love that kind of music? Oh, except them. Anyway, ever since the 1950s, rock and roll has been adored by kids young or old. Teen kids, to be exact. Not only do I love to listen to rock and roll, but I also like to learn about it. Heck! Why else would I take a history of rock and roll class at Saddleback College in order to get my AA degree in fine arts? But that's not the only place where I learned about it. When I was young, my father taught me as much as he knew about it because he's lived throughout most of those rockin' decades. I also learned that rock and roll has been used for certain films and shows. In the summer of 2010, my interest in rock and roll grew when my family and I had gone to London when we saw a show which had Queen songs called We Will Rock You. And 2 years later afterwards, I saw a really awesome movie which not only featured different varieties of rock and roll, but also influenced me to listen to more rock songs in my future. Released on June 15th, 2012, the movie is Rock of Ages! Now before I get started, the version I'm going to be talking about is the extended cut. So, well, for all you at home who wondering. So let's get started. Set in 1987 Los Angeles, 3 years before I was born, Drew and Sherry are two young people chasing their dreams in the big city. When they meet, it's love at first sight. Though their romance will face a series of challenges. And that's basically the plot in a nutshell. So, what did I think of this? Well, what else can I say? But it truly rocks! Now let's move on to Mustang Notes to find out why I like this film. This film was directed by Adam Shankman, who directed another Broadway musical movie, Hairspray. Plus, the screenplay was written by the same person who wrote the stage musical that it's based on, Chris D'Arenzo. After the success of the original off-Broadway production, the film's rights were sold to Warner Brothers and New Line Cinema. Filming began at Revolutionary Live, a small music venue in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. There was also filming in Darien Beach Boomers. On July 18th, filming took place at the Hard Rock Casino in Hollywood, Florida to be exact, for a concert scene with Don't Stop Believin' and Wanted Dead or Alive. The scenes at the iconic Hollywood sign were filmed at Monarch Hill Renewable Energy Park, known to locals as Mount Trashmore in Pompano Beach. In June 2011, A full 6-block section of NW 14th Street and North Miami Avenue in downtown Miami was decorated as a late 1980s version of the Hollywood, California Sunset Strip, complete with a Whiskey A Go-Go, Fredericks of Hollywood, Tower Records, and Angeline Billboard, along with other landmarks. The scenes, in my eyes, that take place at the Venus Club the Bourbon, and many other Los Angeles locations almost makes you feel like it's the actual 80s. And the visuals is almost like a rock concert come to life. However, there are two things I didn't like about it, though. One, there are sexual scenes that get me kind of a bit uncomfortable. And two, there is rock and roll racism. Yeah, I know they say that stuff about rock and roll being the work of the devil has been said since the 1950s, but every time I hear that crap, it gets me kind of infuriated. But the real reason why I like this movie is because it encouraged me to buy some new songs from iTunes and to learn more about rock and roll. Speaking of songs, the songs in this film are really great. Even some of my favorite rock songs are in this film as well, like I Love Rock and Roll, Hit Me With Your Best Shot, Waiting for a Girl Like You, Wanted Dead or Alive, which is by Bon Jovi, I Want to Know What Love Is by Foreigner, I Want to Rock by Twisted Sister, Heart in My Heart by Quarter Flash, Shadows of the Night by Pat Benatar, Any Way You Want It by Journey, Built the City by Jefferson Starship, and Don't Stop Believin' by Journey. However, the ones I didn't know too much about back then were Paradise City by Guns N' Roses, along with Sister Christian, Just Like Paradise, Nothing But a Good Time by Poison, Jukebox Hero by Foreigner, More Than Words, Heaven, Pour Some Sugar on Me by Def Leppard, Here I Go Again, Can't Fight This Feeling by REO Speedwagon, Every Rose Has Thorns by Poison, Rock You Like a Hurricane, and We're Not Gonna Take It by Twisted Sister. However, the one song I really didn't like whatsoever was Undercover Love. Not just because it's the only song that's not from an original artist, because sometimes rap isn't for me. Plus, if you listen to Undercover Love, it sounds kind of dirty, like today's rap. However, there are also other songs that are played throughout the movie, and the ones that are not sung by the cast that are played in the background are I Remember You by Skid Row, Everybody Wants Some by Van Halen, the title song Rock of Ages by Def Leppard, Bringing On the Heartbreak by Def Leppard, Talk Dirty to Me by Poison, No One Like You by Scorpions, Come On Feel the Noise by Quiet Riot, which plays during the end credits, and Cherry Pie by Warrant. Now it's time to move on to the cast of this movie. Now our main character, Sherry Christian, is played by Julianne Hough, who is in, well, this crap. Now, as for Sherry herself, she's a girl from Oklahoma who is going to LA to adjust to life there. But later she learns that she found what she was always wanted all along. Love. You know, from the way she sings a lot of her songs, I can't help but wonder what Adam Shankman said to her when he hired her for that role. Hey, Julian, baby, listen. I'm calling to tell you that, well, I'm sorry for all the crap that Paramount and MTV films have put you through in Footloose. How would you like to be in a film where you actually get to sing? No, in fact, just an assumption. Now, Sherry's love interest, Drew Bully, is played by Diego Boneta. Now, not wanting an older actor to act like he is 23, Shankman thought it'd be better to go as authentic as possible. And Diego is absolutely that. He's a kid who came to Los Angeles with a dream and who sings and has an amazing voice and a drive as well. And he's also as honest and sweet as you can possibly make him, and he's authentically the age. It creates a piece of something on screen that you don't have to fabricate. Of Boneta's audition, Shankman said, "It's that feeling you get when you realize you discovered lightning in a bottle." It reminds him of Zac Efron auditioning for Hairspray or Channing Tatum for Step Up. And Liam Hemsworth auditioning for The Last Song. When the guy walks in, the guy walks in. Shankman also said he did not know that Boneta was a Latin music star until after he auditioned. While most of the stuff about him is true, there's only one thing about him that kind of disappoints me, though. That part where he jumps to conclusions of thinking something that didn't actually happen. Next we have the guys in charge of the Bourbon Room. Dennis Dupree and Lonnie Barnett, played by Alec Baldwin and Russell Brand. These guys are considered the best friend couple for the movie. They do their best to run the Bourbon while relying on many rock bands to perform and get enough money to prevent the club from closing down, especially when it comes to arguing with rock haters and church people. Next we have one of our antagonists, Paul Gill, played by Paul Giamatti. Wow, He's a manager for a character who I'm going to mention later, but also later becomes Drew's manager. However, he doesn't seem like the good manager type. Let me explain. What he does is act like a real idiot throughout the whole film. I mean, he takes advantage of the Bourbon and leaves them broke, and transferring Drew from rock and roll to rap, which is my least favorite music genre, and what's worse, he says that rock is dead. You know, with that remark, that just made me want to scream like this. Now let's move on. Our other antagonist is Catherine Zeta-Jones, who is in Chicago, who plays the mayor's wife, Patricia Whitmore. Not to be confused with a little girl from Independence Day. She leads the rock protesters in order to bring the Bourbon and one certain rock artist down in order to protect the community. However, there's more to her than her job as mayor's wife. And now we have Venus Club owner Justice Charlier, who's played by Mary J. Blige. She appears nearly halfway through the movie. She's not just a great singer, but she's also a really sweet supporter for Sherry. But in my eyes, the best character in the entire film was none other than Stacey Jacks, played by the great Tom Cruise. Shankman knew Cruise was in when he heard him on the first go around on his voice lessons, confirming that he actually had a fantastic voice. Cruise since has been singing 5 hours a day to prepare him for his work as a musician, Stacey Jacks. It's this brilliant mashup, which seems of Axl Rose, Bret McMichaels, Keith Richards, and Jim Morrison all roll into one. Shankman said of what to expect from Cruise. Cruz himself told People Weekly magazine that he had already wanted to appear in a musical, but that even so, he found the idea kind of frightening, because he was uncertain whether he could actually pull it off. And in my opinion, I believe Tom actually does pull it off very well. I mean, he does a great job with this role, especially with the songs he sings. But outside of his drunken and sexual behavior, Stacey Jaxx is a noble and supportive character. Plus, I also love his monkey sidekick, Heyman, played by a monkey named Mickey. And now let's end this blog with my final words. Above all, Rock of Ages is a rockin' musical movie. The songs, minus one of course, are cool. Some of the characters are memorable. However, if you love rock and roll like I do, and if you can ignore the sexual stuff and the racism, it's a great film that deserves a watch. But I wouldn't recommend younger kids watch it because of its rating, though. But as for my rating, I would give it an 85%. Well, that's it for today, everybody. So, before I leave for my vacation to DC, my next blog will be to count down my 10 favorite worlds from the Kingdom Hearts franchise. See you later, everybody, and rock on with, or should I say, Mustang power and rock on!
Welcome back, Rocket Rockers. You rock the universe.